So today I'm going to be making a video on how to get more bucks on camera in New England. And it's something that I struggled with when I first started hunting. It's hard because there's just not a lot of bucks to get pictures of. But this is something that I've learned from articles and some other guys that I've watched videos on or whatever. I figured it would just be good to make a video about it. Hopefully it'll help somebody. And what we're going to be doing is be making a mock scrape. So what I do is I'll find a nice limb, nice licking branch. I'd like to try to do it on a logging road if you can, or a bench, or some kind of a natural funnel where deer are already going through. And to be completely honest, the best way to get pictures of bucks in the Northeast is to find like a community scrape where bucks make a scrape every year, and that's going to be your best bet for getting a lot of bucks on camera. But if you don't have a lot of time to scout, or it's a new piece of woods that you have never been in before, or whatever it might be, maybe you can't find a community scrape. You find an area where the deer are already going through, and you do this. I take the ground and scrape it up just like a deer would. Get right down to dirt. I more or less think this right here, the dirt, the fresh dirt, is what attracts the deer most of the time. I think. I don't know. But, so, you know, make sure there's a good branch over it. And sometimes I'll even take the branch if it's like 3 or 4 feet up, and I'll kind of break it and hang it down a little bit. They like that. And then the most important part, you don't need any deer urine, you don't need any attractant scents. You just pee in the scrape. And I know it sounds weird, but I have thousands of pictures of bucks to prove this works, and just trust me guys, it's killer. So pee in the scrape, and then we'll go to setting up the camera. We'll move on to setting up the camera. So one thing that I've learned about cameras, especially with mature bucks in New England, because I haven't really run cameras anywhere else, but I'm sure it's probably the same for any whitetail, and that's that if you put a camera at hip height, the deer is going to see the camera. And 9 times out of 10, when you get a picture of a big buck on camera when it's at hip height, you'll never get a picture of him again. Because, you know, he sees that thing and he knows, like, this is his home. So he knows when he sees something that's out of place. So one thing that I do now, and I actually don't hear a lot of guys talking about this, but I put the camera at about head height, about 6 feet high, and I put some down tilt on the camera. And there's some things you can buy to do this, like some mounts and stuff, but I can do it just fine. Put it right up, nice up like that. And then what I do is I'll just get like a, you know, a fat stick, put it behind it, cinch up the camera, get it pointing right down at that scrape, and that's perfect. And I found that your mature bucks aren't going to see this. And another thing too is guys won't see it either. So if you're hunting public land, which I mostly hunt public land, guys won't be looking for these things up at 6 feet. They're usually scanning, you know, a little lower. That's when they're going to notice them. But this is a killer for game cameras. So I think this is a must. You have to do this if you want to be successful with your cameras.
Go ahead.
One thing to know about the cameras is, if you want to really learn a lot about an area, is you cannot check the camera as frequently as you probably want to. And you can get away with this by getting a cell camera, because if you have a cell camera, they'll send the picture, you know, immediately to your phone. But if you're not going to do that, you know, I suggest, you know, setting the camera up in September and maybe checking it halfway through October, and then maybe again during the rut. But if you're in there all the time checking the camera, I believe that the deer are going to start associating you with that area, and that maybe even that camera, if you get a lot of hand scent on there and other stuff like that. But I personally think the best way to run a camera is to pick an area that you're interested in, public land, whatever, and hang a camera in October on a mock scrape, and then just leave it. Go about your deer season, go hunt your other areas, and then in the spring, go in there, pull your camera. You're going to learn so much about that area. And you can use that intel to kill a buck of a lifetime the next year. And, you know, so on and so forth. But I think that's the best way to do it. It's almost like, you know, you're hanging that camera. It's kind of like you just walk through the piece of property and you never went back. But, so yeah, that's all I got to say about game cameras. Hopefully you guys take something out of this. I'm not saying I'm the, you know, game camera master or anything, but these are things that I've learned over the years. And please subscribe if you like the videos. Thank you. So this is a little bonus information. If you really want to get big bucks on your game camera, you gotta get an 01 Toyota Tacoma. These things are unbelievable. Best deer hunting rig ever made. Drive this thing anywhere. It was great too. One payment. It's unbelievable. No, but seriously, having a little hunting rig is great for hunting because you can just drive it through the woods and not have to worry about scratching it and all that stuff. So get yourself a nice little hunting rig.